Let's take a look now at editing. So editing just means removing the parts you don't need, reordering stuff if you need to, splitting files, all of that kind of stuff. Taking those recordings and turning them into what you actually need at the end. So if you click edit on any of your files, you can get in there and start chopping them up. So you can see that in this one, you've got a waveform at the top and you've got a transcript down the bottom. Now the transcript, you'll click this button, this little switch, and that'll start it transcribing so that you can start to see the words there. I'll go back out and I'll show you one that's already been done. It only takes about a minute or two, but this is what you end up with. You have the waveform at the top and the transcript at the bottom. Now, the principle is that the transcript is great for the broad strokes, for looking through a longer recording, for finding the parts that you know you want to edit, for searching through for words or phrases that you know are in there that you want to try and find and change, or just having a read through, a skim through and finding places where maybe you went off track and you want to remove parts that were a bit fluffy, something like that. Or maybe you have crutch words that you know that you say, you want to go through and find them too. So you can go through, you can skim through, you can select like this whole sentence, let's say, that's no good. So you can see that if I highlight it like that, if I click and drag, it highlights that sentence. You can see that it also highlights it up on the waveform here. And I can preview it. I can press the preview button.
Listened last time around. That's probably about the reasonable.
And it lets you hear what that sounds like. So I can refine it now. This is the power of both, having the transcript and the waveform up at the top. You can edit with both. You can edit with either. If you prefer the waveform, go with that. If you prefer the transcript, go with that. But do the transcript, and then you can refine it by just dragging the handle a little bit like this. This is one of the things that Alitu excels at because it has a really good detailed waveform editor alongside the transcript editor to really help you make sure that all those edits are spot on. If you want to edit more traditionally, just using the waveform at the top, you can play through.
Great places near you.
You can find a part, you can zoom in a little bit on it, and then you can click and drag to create an edit point. You can press that preview button to listen to it again.
Okay, so we're going to go through our kind of, if you're looking to...
it sounds like, and if you're happy with that, you cut it out and that's it, gone. And if you ever need to change that in future, all you do is you find a little red line, you click the edit button on top, and that gets rid of it right there. So that's the basic premise of editing. The main editing you will do is you'll go in, you'll trim the start and the end. So often I'll go in and I'll zoom in on the start and I'll find the actual start. I know that that's not the actual start. Maybe I'll skim through the transcript. I'll say, oh, so here we go. Here's where I say, hey folks, and welcome to an episode. So I know that all of this from here upwards isn't needed. So I can cut that out. And then we see that there's a bit of silence here as well. That's a visual thing that really helps having this good waveform up here. So if I click edit there, I can then drag this right out and bring it to the start of those words and then cut. And that's the start done. Then I skim across to the end and I find if there's any space at the end. Looks like actually we're pretty tight at the end. Is there anything I need to remove? Not really. Nothing at all. But I can check that that is actually the end. Yeah, so perfect. And then you'll go through, you'll find the mistakes. Often the way I do it is I say something like edit point. So if I'm recording and I have something that I make a mistake on, I'll say the words edit point 1, 2, 3. And then I'll use the search here. You can see a search at the bottom. So search transcript and I'll type in edit point. And if I have any edit points, they will show up. And that means that I don't have to listen to the whole thing. So that is the core of your audio editing, waveform and transcript together to remove all of your mistakes. In the next video, I'll go into the more advanced editing tools. You can see a few of them along the top here to see what we can do to help you make that editing quicker and easier.